Begin PODFIX network transmission in 3, 2, 1.
All right, Jay, take it. Oh, wait. No, Jay.
Jay?
Jay.
Who's Jay?
Jay.
Jay.
Jay. I don't know what this voice is, but where are you?
Fran Drescher? No, not quite.
Maybe. I don't know.
Jay, did you clean your room?
That was more of George's mother.
I'm George's mother. That one.
I was thinking George Costanza.
Oh,
Roll the music.
George!
Hey everybody, this is former WWF Light Heavyweight Champion Gilbert, brother, and you're listening to the Cretans Guild Podcast.
Hello, Cretans, and welcome to episode 80 of the Cretans Guild Podcast.
Hello, Cretans.
Hello,
To the Cretans Jazzy Jazz Lounge podcasting hour. They can't see what's going on in here. This is the most reclined I'll have ever done any podcast.
Yeah, we're doing something new with the equipment today. We got a 2-mic setup.
It's got
And Corey looks like he's like a martini away from just slipping into a coma.
I'm a smoking jacket away from finally achieving self-respect.
No, you're not. You're a long way off of that.
I know, but it's a step in the right direction.
You know what it is. We'll take every step
Yeah.
we can get our feet on. This is what happened when Jay isn't here. We're off the rails already.
That's right. Screw the man. We are free now.
Well, some people would say we are the man. That's the problem.
You and a man, and that's the problem. Yes.
Guys, what we're going to talk about today, we're going to, just like touch on a couple of things. It's just Corey and Bob tonight. So, Corey, what you been up to? Anything of interest?
I'm wondering why the microphone hasn't bought me dinner yet.
Well,
It's just hanging in front of my face. And I feel like I should be doing something, but now I'm like, I haven't been wooed.
Since this is a podcast, nobody can see my hand is in my face right now.
Here was how he reacted to that statement. Looks down, puts his index finger and middle finger and his thumb over the bridge of his nose, and tries to not shake his head. He's partially successful, but you and I both know, shit, you probably even heard that through his microphone.
You can hear my eyes rolling.
I haven't been doing shit, dude. I've been packing.
Fair enough. Yeah. You're one of those, we could say, they decided in their infinite wisdom, our workplace has decided to judge our, I guess, value based on the order of which they think they can release us because our job's going away at the end of the year. We could say that at least.
I know. How much are we allowed to say about our occupations now?
You know what? I've never had a non-disclosure thing pushed in front of me.
Yeah.
Unless it's one of those little integrity quizzes they make us take every year.
And you
go through those so quickly, it's like, whatever, sure.
It's never popped up. They've always given us like very specific scenarios having to do with like a content exposure or violating trademarks and things like that.
Yeah.
But we haven't been necessarily saying where we've worked on this podcast, and they've never told anybody else that they can't mention where they work in casual conversation.
No, I think
scenarios.
that's allowed.
That's allowed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's allowed. We just haven't done it except for on the last podcast where I forgot to edit it out.
Oh, whoops. I was about to say, and thus far, you've been really good about editing it out.
Well, we also haven't mentioned it because nobody really cares where we work. But I can tell you that Corey and I do work together. The job is going away at the end of this year, and the higher-ups believe Corey is less valuable than I am, so he is out at the end of this month.
I believe there's a very good reason for that.
Well,
it's because I walked right into our department manager's office and said, look, I'm less valuable. You have to let me go first.
Daily wearing of the George Carlin "fuck you" t-shirt doesn't help.
That's a sticking point. I don't know how real about our occupation we're allowed to get. But it's in entertainment and communications.
It's in broadcasting.
Yeah, obviously there's going to be like a variety of personas and temperaments that you're going to encounter on a very on a very regular basis there. For some weird reason, my department was a lot stricter about dress codes.
Yeah, that was
than
weird.
Other apartments, which is here's why it's fucking odd.
Well, I mean, it's like, if I could just interject, I think the weird part is your department works all the way at the ass end of the entire building.
Yeah.
News and everybody else of importance works on, I guess it's called the north end of the building.
Mm-hmm.
You are you can't go any, like, the bathrooms are more further than your office.
Yeah. I mean, well, this is how we'll put this. Most of the newsroom's obviously going to be the most visible, especially to visitors, because it's right next to the lobby.
Right.
You have to, I mean, you've got to take a slow boat to China to get to where I am, where my office is. So
You have to go through a Rube Goldberg maze to get to your office.
a Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Yeah, that.
A Ruth Bader Ginsburg machine to get to where my office is?
Go with that.
I don't even know what that could be. I'm sorry.
I want to know what that is.
Whatever it is, it's highly litigious, and I don't understand it at all on a federal level. No, and the funny thing is that, like, that confusion is twofold, because we're outside of even, like, peripheral visibility for most visitors, even though they do come down to our to the studio that's over there, especially like any high profile visitors to sign the wall and do that whole ceremonial whatever. But
still, they've got to go way off the path to get to your place.
They do. Also, we're in the midst of what's basically like the creative's nest for the production side, because there's marketing on the one side.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the people that like shoot the commercials and stuff, have to dress up the sets and whatever else. And then we have graphics on the other side, which is just like pre-made graphics and actual graphic design. I'm on air graphics, so we're situated like right in the middle. If they need us to make any content for them visually, then they come to us. We basically just flesh out the end of that pipeline. So like these other two creative entities, they can wear whatever the hell they want. Some people from news, when they did our shows with us, wore whatever the hell they wanted to, because I assume that it's not dress code to be dressed up in a blue mohawk and a torn leather jacket.
Yeah, it looked like you had 1980 Storm working with you.
No yeah. So I come in with t-shirts. I was about to say periodically. He's like, no, all the time. But I always get pulled aside for like, hey man, we love your sense of humor. And I'm doing scare hands behind the mic here, because you know how your superiors talk to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, he pulls me aside. We love the Abe Froman shirts and all that stuff, guys. But you have to wear a polo shirt. And it's like nobody else on this side of the building is except for the two old dudes that I work underneath. That's it.
But I was never told to wear a polo, but I was told to wear a collared shirt.
Uh-huh.
And you know what has collars? Hawaiians.
Hawaiian shirts.
Yep.
You wear the print shirts.
Yeah.
See, you found a loophole.
I did, and I exploited it hard. I'm going to exploit it for the rest of the year because I don't give a flip.
It's harsh language,
I
Bob.
know,
I don't know what you're doing to this demographic.
I was trying to make up a word on the fly, and I'm not very spontaneous tonight.
Google flutter.
Google flutter.
So, okay, what was going to happen is if like we kept this charade going, and I had to work there like another year or so, I don't even know how much longer I could have taken it, then I would have started getting some custom-made polo shirts, and it would have been like animals in various poses of disgrace, like
Oh God, I know where this is going.
like a dog, dropping a deuce, something like that. A lion, like, trying to get busy with whatever selectable mate out of its pod or pack or whatever the hell. I don't know what's a group of lions called. And your pride think, oh my God, I knew that.
Paul Chomo would be proud of me right now.
Ugh.
Especially since I got his name right.
Yeah. I'm not even proud of myself right now.
Well, that's an everyday thing.
Yeah. So I would have like tried to push the envelope and be like, it's a polo shirt. I don't know what you guys want out of me. Decency? I'm sorry. You don't pay me enough for that.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. As for anything that like I've actually been doing, I went to the Lego store the other day because I wanted to check out Disney Springs.
How did you feel going there?
Oh, it's a public space.
Yeah, well, you're not big on the public venues to begin with, and now that we have this, the cooties are flying around like crazy.
If it was just cooties, I'd be fine. because I got my cootie shot when I was 6. So middle school was a breeze. But this isn't cooties, unfortunately. It's you sneeze, you die. And the challenges with me going out into public spaces to begin with are way different than they are now. That's a completely different set of concerns. It used to be just like social anxiety. I can't deal with all of these people being around at once. Mm-hmm. And now that I actually have a sane reason for not being in large groups of people, it's twice as scary to see the open spaces, because it's almost a bit like, you ever see the first Mad Max movie?
Long time ago, but yeah.
Okay, all right. So, the first Mad Max movie is basically civilization on the cusp of collapse, and it's not like the hyper-stylized desert wasteland of the following movies.
Yeah, it's not complete dystopia yet.
That's what a lot of the theme parks look like now. There's just, not a lot of people around, and once you spot, one mold spot now down near the sidewalk on the corner of a building that gets neglected by the cleaning crew, you feel that frequency. It's fun. it makes you so uneasy.
All right, so you must have been there on a weekday.
I was there on a weekday.
Okay,
yeah,
because the weekends, the stores and the parks have been cram packed. They've been loaded, lots and lots of people.
Got to tell you, I probably wouldn't feel any better in that situation either.
No, I know you would not. You'd be in goddamn terror.
Yeah,
walk in and go nope, and walk out.
I mean, the worst thing, in the olden days, back in last February, way back then, it would have been like, oh my god, that person's making eye contact with me. What do I do? Quick, Bob, put me in your oversized bag.
Climb in.
Yeah.
I'll have a Tic Tac for you.
There's actually a Corey compartment on your bag.
We used it during horror nights last year. Quite frequently.
Well, it was a cooler then, but...
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's just like if there was that many people, it'd be like, don't fucking touch me. Don't start it. I'd have to hang out in the bathroom the entire night. I don't know.
All right, so with you being there, did you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how safe?
I felt pretty safe. For the most part, everybody was abiding by the guidelines and such. Mm-hmm. A couple of the dudes working there were close talkers. However, they had masks on.
I think that's okay.
That's okay?
I'm pretty sure that's okay. From the science I've been seeing, you still want to keep your distance just to be absolutely safe. But if you're wearing a mask over your mouth and your nose, you can still be within 2 or 3 feet of each other and talk, and you should be just fine. Because the mask, basically, my mask protects you, your mask protects me, that kind of deal. So if they're talking, if there's any water vapors or anything escaping throughout the mask, it's going up around their own eyes, and then it just kind of floats down to the ground. It doesn't go straight out like it does when you're talking or sneezing or whatever.
Well, there was still the dual barrier, so that was nice.
Yeah.
I don't like close talkers to begin with.
Well, who does?
Yeah. Because they're leaning in, and if you're not caught in the embarrassingly awkward situation of having your instincts kick in and be like, oh, do I lean in too? Or
no, I lean back.
Yeah, you get the fuck back. Well, if your reflexes are so keen, then all of a sudden you feel like you're in an old Certs commercial. And you're like, is he going to whip out a giant roll of mints?
The fresh maker.
So I went to Lego. There was a mission that I was on. It's kind of a pisser that I wasn't able to get you on the same day. Because I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do it again before the end of the month. But the seasonal Legos were out, the little sets they put out.
Right.
Yeah. For Halloween. So I wanted to go grab a couple of those, and then I made an impulse buy on one of the, I hesitate to use the phrase baller ass. That's describing a little bit too much pomp to the topic that we're discussing at the moment. It's fucking building toys. But I felt like 2019 was a really good year for the creator set, so I was like, all right, I got to get at least one of them, and I went ahead and did that.
Which one did you get?
It was the UFO, which was a lot like the Fairground Mixer that came out in 2013, 2014.
Okay.
Except that it was a scaled down version of it, so there isn't as much of a load on the substructure that you put together underneath the axle.
The construction, basically.
Yeah. And the reason I like go gaga over the Fairground ones is because it's not full on Technic, so you're not constantly snapping girders next to each other, creating this cumbersome mass of plastic out of nothing but just pegs
you need a
and
foreman to put this thing together.
Right. It's complex. But the Fairground ones, they will take a Technic sort of a concept and then put it to sort of a more abstract use. So you work on a little bit of a gear, you get some gears, you work on a little bit of a mechanism for yourself, and then the rest of it's just like just decorating, making a thing.
Okay.
That was that mission, and mission was accomplished. And no COVID.
Oh, well, that's always a bonus, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not dead.
Not yet.
Yeah. It's so funny. You spend so long getting up in the morning, saying to yourself, oh, God, why am I not dead yet? And then all of a sudden, when you find out that it's like a realistic option, you don't want it anymore. Get it off the table. I still have so much to live for.
That's not a cake you want a piece of.
Right.
So, all right. So, quick question about the Legos. I've been noticing. Well, I this isn't really anything new, but some of these Lego pieces or sets
Are overpriced as fuck.
Yeah, I couldn't see myself paying that much money for anything that isn't a video game.
That's funny. Yeah, Legos are hella expensive. And once upon a time, I used to sneer quite haughtily at people that collected them.
Oh, jeez.
Because $80 is a mid-range price tag for any one of these items. That's fucking pathetic.
Yeah. God.
You know how many like top of the line boxes I bought for myself over the last couple of years?
I know Stranger Things was one of them because I was with you for that.
Stranger Things was one of them, but we're going to say for the sake of the continuation of my lineage that I bought none of them.
Okay.
Because once that comes up in conversation in a social setting, you're pretty much persona non grata.
Well, Stranger Things, that was only like a shade over 100, if I remember.
It was 200.
It was 200?
Yeah. It was
shit.
Not only was it like a huge, it was also like a high concept design plus a super hot IP. That thing was discontinued in 6 months.
Oh, no kidding.
It was one of the short term ones. Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
As soon as I got, I looked this up actually after I got home because I went in there to see, which ones are still available and whatnot. And I kind of shit my pants at a couple of them because some of them I wanted to get and we're like, oh no. As it turns out, COVID shut down a lot of Legos production facilities in Mexico.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine.
So they haven't been retired. However, they are really damn scarce right now. So you can't find them anywhere. After that, I went home and looked it up, and I was like, okay, well, Stranger Things is probably out too, and I already have it, so who gives a shit? And then it was delisted last year, which was the same year that it came out. And it was like, Indiana Jones grabbing the fedora. What a feeling, da-da-da-da. You're a loser, da-da-da-da-da. You can't appreciate the value of a dime. Fucking nerd.
Nice. All right, so Legos are expensive. That's nothing new.
I mean, they're commutable currency with cocaine.
God, those might be our pop caps after the apocalypse happens.
Oh, are you like Nuka-Cola caps?
Yeah. I'll take 10 bricks for that bacon.
What's that? You've only got 13 1x2s? Who the fuck are you fooling? Get them out.
All right, so you've been doing the Lego thing while you're still in town.
Mm-hmm.
I've been risking my life and my family's life by going to theme parks.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be going if I didn't feel safe. And I've been to Universal like 3 or 4 times since they reopened because I bought an annual pass right before the shutdown.
What?
Great timing on my behalf.
Yeah.
Well, I bought it. It was like, well, this is before we knew there was going to be a shutdown. And as soon as they reopened, I went a couple of times, and they have really good procedure. Obviously, you got to wear the mask and everything. And they were giving me like the little hand sanitizer before and after every attraction I went on.
Uh-huh.
So that made me feel real good. And, just after everything else I'd gone through, I was like, you know what? I feel safe enough to bring my kids. So I brought Captain Rob. Last week, I did food and wine at Epcot. And I ate so much goddamn food.
They did food and wine this year? Sorry. That's kind of astounding to me.
They did.
Okay. Wow.
And they actually, Disney went overboard with their protective measures.
They should.
Yeah.
That's basically like an open buffet, right?
Well, yeah, but
It's like a booger basket, but on a big scale.
for the most part, the food's cooked, so you're not going to get sick from the food.
I know, but it's still like a communal area of comestibles.
Well, all right.
Communably comestible.
That's a heavy metal band name right there.
Not Swedish, though.
Not Swedish.
I don't think they would deal with that sort of alliteration.
Commutable combustible.
Nah, if it was Swedish
a little
heavy
more
metal,
German.
it would have to...
You know, with Disney, they weren't doing any shows or any performances, but they were having characters. Usually, you would have like a meet and greet where you can do photos with everyone, and they weren't doing that. The characters were behind fences, like in grass areas, frolicking around and like waving from a distance, taking photos and whatever.
Like the animals at Animal Kingdom?
Yeah.
That's a surreal-ass visual.
Yeah, I kind of want to go on a Disney safari character hunt now. There's Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, God. Oh, bother. Right in the sternum.
I think Eeyore's right around that corner. Here I am.
Just make it quick.
I'll stand still. Aim for my head.
Dodging bullets is what Tiggers know how to do best.
No, you don't waste time with Tigger. You'll never hit him. He's a fast-moving target.
What if he was just putting on a ruse? What if he's actually more depressed than Eeyore is?
Putting on a ruse like Rue? Like Kanga and Rue?
Shit. I didn't know this evening was going to end so early. Dare you? Since this is how it's going to be going. On the way over, we're going to keep this brief, maybe.
Sure.
Because this was the small talk I thought.
No, do it.
When I was peeing.
Hit me.
All right.
Pee talk, I love it.
Yeah. Pee thoughts turn into small talks. Do you have like a verbal tick or a habit that you do in front of other people and you kind of catch yourself doing, but it only began very recently? It's a very specific sort of a thing.
I guess. I mean, I can't remember what it is, but I'm fairly certain there's something in the back of my head where I'll say something and then it just goes on repeat in my head for like the next 5 minutes. Like, is that what you said? Are you a dumbass? What did you say?
Oh, okay. I've heard of that.
Did you say leisure or seizure? What's wrong with you?
No, did you say complexion or complexion?
No, I do that all the time.
Ugh.
Let me tell you, with growing up in the South, with a mother from Boston with a thick Boston accent.
Oh, that's rough.
I got read Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Goldilocks and the Three Bars, and Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
I'm going to choke.
I heard 3 different stories when it came to relatives.
Excuse me? There's this thing that I don't know when it started specifically, but I'm pretty convinced that it happened within the last 4 years. Pretty sure that it was when I moved up north, and then I brought it back down with me. I was driving. Here's the scenario. And it was idling up the road. You know how you're kind of like half paying attention to the traffic. They never should have given me a driver's license, but you know, it's their bed that they're going to have to sleep in now. And I see something. It was like somebody in a blue Mustang's just pulling up, kind of hops underneath the yellow light and dodges the red. And this came out of my mouth as I was coming to a stop. You just dodged a light, like that. And I intonated it like that. Whenever I do that, it makes me think about all of the times that I have done that same annoying. I'm convinced it's like an offshoot of Tourette's over the last week, and it just pops up at the most random and sometimes really inappropriate moments.
So what? You like sing-song parts of your life?
Yeah, I'll just like how Samuel Jackson did.
Yeah, you beat me to it. That's like da 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 da.
Well, except it's Samuel Jackson, so he can get away with it. Plus, he chose rhythm and blues as like his transitive medium. You know, I basically do the same thing where it's like, heh, 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 heh. I don't know where that came from.
Except for you using like 80s yuppies music.
I know. I know it's like kind of maybe one of Debbie Gibson's failed tracks that never made it to the production phase.
Huey Lewis just pops in there.
Yeah, I'll just be like getting off of the toilet and be like, oh, it's moldy, and then and then hate myself for 2 things at the same time. So you don't do this clearly.
Not consciously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there are moments of like energetic spike. Where I do something along those lines. Like, for no reason, I'll just break out with my kids and just do a 10-second dance-off.
Oh, okay.
And then that's it. We just walk around as if nothing had just happened.
Yeah, that's fine. You're just airing out the vents, though.
Yeah.
That's it. This will happen no no matter what mood I'm in, no matter what situation I'm in. Thankfully, the odds have been in my favor and not doing it in public too much, but I have done it at work. And our director called me out on it one day.
During a show?
Well, it was right before a show, but it was still
in the control room. Basically.
Yeah, there were witnesses, basically.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I did that. I did that once in front of him, and I can't even remember what it was for. It was just like I fucked the take or something like that. And he says to me exactly, "Who was that back there?" And he's like, "Well, it's just me and over there." And he was like, "Well, you're a dude, and she is not. So I'm guessing it was you. I gotta ask you to do me a favor, man. Never again." Don't. It's creepy. It's beyond creepy.
You know what? Now, I was going to say now you need to do it all the time, but when the hell are you going to be back in there again?
I do it all the time, whether I fucking want to or not.
Good.
So, yeah. Well, way to make me feel like a fucking alien, Bob.
We interrupt these idiots to inform you that this is your opportunity to win a $40 gift certificate to the greatest comic book shop in Orlando, Gods and Monsters. There are 3 ways to enter, and you are eligible to try each method to win. Send a DM to Cretans Guild on Twitter, Instagram, or by email to cretinsguild@gmail.com, and include this key phrase: Hail Hydra. All entries will be pulled together and a winner will be selected on Friday the 21st. If you do not win this week, try again. There will be 4 more chances for Gods and Monsters goodness. Again, send a DM to Cretans Guild on Twitter, Instagram, or by email to cretinsguild@gmail.com, and include the phrase, Hail Hydra. Good luck. Now, back to the losers who would rather talk Star Trek than their own significant others.
Socks are sweaty.
Sorry, I was trying to do a Close Encounters. I couldn't remember how the tune goes.
Was that Close Encounters or the beginning of Star Trek?
Well, it was one like an amalgamating of the two. You know that song has lyrics?
I've heard.
I don't remember what they are, and I'm the biggest Trekkie.
I've heard of it having lyrics. I don't know what the lyrics are.
I don't know what they are, but yeah, the Star Trek theme does have lyrics.
Or where does the verbalization come in? Like right after the bridge and before it goes.
Yeah, I think at that part where you hear like the chorus, the background chorus like chiming in.
Huh.
And it's I get an image of Bill Murray from Saturday Night Live doing lounge Star Wars.
That's what I was thinking.
It's definitely not that. But the lyrics make no sense, basically. I think Gene Roddenberry said, no, we're not going to do that. And they just did orchestra and it was like, and everything.
God, I need to know now. I mean, you can't start it off with just Star Trek because that's a game that's been well played. So,
all right, so yeah, this was driving me nuts.
Yarr.
Let's go ahead. Let's
listen. It drives me nuts.
It's driving me batty. Right up the gallywad.
Yes?
I don't know pirate.
Poop deck.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yarr, I mean. All right. Star Trek with lyrics. We found them. Well, actually, I want to read them because they're not that memorable. First off.
Oh, they're memorable.
Well, here are the lyrics. Beyond the rim of the starlight, my love is wandering in the star flight. I know he'll find the star-clustered reaches. Love, strange love, a star woman teaches.
A green woman teaches.
That would have been more apropos.
Yes.
I know his journey never ends. His Star Trek will go on forever.
Ooh,
but tell him...
Title of the show, ding.
There it is. But tell him, while he wanders his starry sea, remember me.
And my grotesque alien genitalia.
Oh my god, those lyrics suck.
It was very
it was very 60s.
Very countercultural.
Yeah. Let's listen to it. So this is
who's this coming from?
I got this from a YouTube channel, Skybolt. Let's listen.
All right.
Beyond the rim of the starlight, my love is wandering in starflight. I know he'll find in star-clustered regions love, strange love, a star woman teaches. I know
Forever.
You're having a Terry Funk flashback. Forever.
Okay, that's weird because the composition of that tune as it was is a bit vexing. I think they should have had females on lead vocals and then males in the back.
They kind of did.
Yeah.
Or it was kind of like a vaudevillian radio mishmash of vocals.
I'm Captain James T. Kirk. We're heading up to Jupiter, 23 Skidoo. I'm hunting for galactic punana.
The Foley artist quits on the job. Like, fuck this.
Here's my fellas. We're going down to the surface of this planet. The away team is going to consist of me, this chap over here with the pointy ears, and this grumpy muss. What's your name, Scotty? I'm Scotty, sir. Oh, 'cause you're Scottish? How ethnic. Let's go meddle in this planet's affairs. All right. Fire up and we'll just get on down. I'm done. I'm done.
Say there, Charlie, there's a green-skinned woman standing over there. I think we need to rough her up.
Rough. God damn it. You were fucking waiting, weren't you?
No, I swear I wasn't.
Why are we assaulting alien women?
Seek out new life and to sexually assault them.
Okay, well, at least the sexual assault is in Kirk's MO. It's just randomly going out. By that point, I mean, we're talking about Star Trek from the Klingons' point of view. If they're just like waging war on people they don't know.
Oh, you mean Fu Manchu Klingons?
Yeah, the Fu Manchu, or the old Klingons, which I guess were just, I don't know.
No, that was them.
That was them?
Yeah.
They didn't have the butt heads yet. They were
No.
just...
I love the story behind that, but no.
Have you ever recounted that story on the show before? Or?
No, but it would be really quick. I mean,
As a resident Star Trek scholar.
I mean, obviously, practical reason, the 60s, they didn't have the makeup for the Klingons to look the way they wanted them to look. So they look like
darker skinned people.
Yeah, stuff that definitely wouldn't fly today.
Uh-huh.
I mean, green skin, blue skin, sure, but you know, brown skin, no.
Right.
That didn't sound right.
Very unfortunate.
But
well, I know how they addressed this in the newer show though, because they did that whole gumping episode in Deep Space Nine, I think.
In Enterprise.
In Enterprise?
In Enterprise, yeah, where the series takes place before the original series Star Trek. The Klingons look like Klingons.
Right.
And then they wanted to start a genetic manipulation that was very similar to the Khan people. You know, Khan from Star Trek 2.
Right.
He was actually from Earth's past. So Klingons wanted to genetically modify their a couple of people into like like enhanced strength and abilities and everything.
Jesus Christ!
And
so eugenics is kind of like a bedrock of some of Star Trek's more open lore.
Yeah, and what happened was it went wrong and it turned into a virus and it infected the entire Klingon race.
Oh my god!
Where they they lost the ridges on their forehead. They lost the ability to headbutt with authority.
Oh god damn it.
And they started looking like humans with Fu Manchus. and at the very end of it, they said, well, the effect should last a couple of generations and then we'll revert back to what Klingons should look like.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness they reverted back by the next generation.
Yeah. Or by the Star Trek 2.
Star Trek 2, basically?
Yeah, basically.
Now, and the genesis of Khan by himself was pretty freaking problematic as well, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, he basically started World War III.
Well, he started World War III, but he was supposed to be... Okay. He was cast... Ricardo Montalban was cast as Khan. He was also the original Khan in the show.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because, he was on... before Fantasy Island, but he was still, like, a popular actor.
Yeah, pre-warp technology. The eugenics wars were a bunch of enhanced humans led by Khan.
Mm-hmm. It was actually called the Eugenics Wars?
Yes.
Shit! Okay, all right, keep going, sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. And so, yeah, he, led, this rebellion or something where he tried to seize power, and there was, this pushback. He lost. and they put him on a ship, a colony ship called the Botany Bay, which anybody who knows Australian history realizes the significance of the name.
Right.
They sent him out into space in like cryogenically frozen, and that's where Kirk and their Enterprise found and de-thawed Khan and his people, and that's where the whole situation started there.
Yeah, but he was supposed to be Native American in the show.
No, he was supposed to be a.
He wasn't?
I don't think. From
This-
what I remember,
I know very few Star Trek facts, and I'm pretty sure that was one of them.
I think.
Because I went through like a Wrath of Khan phase, which is like one of the best effing movies ever made.
Yes.
Not just Star Trek movies. I mean, movies.
Right.
It's friggin' flabbergasted.
No
how good
argument
that
here.
movie-
Yeah. I would have to look this up. I believe he was supposed to be not a Native American, but an Indian sheik.
Still, they cast a Hispanic as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the 60s. And they also had John Wayne playing Genghis Khan, for God's sake.
Yeah, and Charlton Heston playing a Mexican and
Yeah,
Touch of
it
Evil.
wasn't. Yeah, it was
Right.
not. I'm not excusing it. At the same time, I don't want to acknowledge it.
Yeah. So there's like a ton going on with the development of like alien races and some of their chief. Did Roddenberry ever think of his foils as villainous or refer to them as villains?
I guess
Because Star Trek, even in its earliest inceptions, was still politically complex.
no, I don't think he really thought of them as villainous as much as different cultures who could act as protagonists in the show and also had like some kind of strange parallel with modern day issues. Like the Klingons were definitely the Soviets at the time, type of deal. The Cold War.
Okay.
And then as soon as Next Generation came around, the Cold War was basically over, so the Klingons were now our allies, that kind of deal.
The Berlin Wall fell.
Yeah.
I heard that was a huge influence on how they viewed Klingon human relationships in that show. The thing that I'm referring to, though, is when it was either on Deep Space Nine or Voyager. I can't remember. But it was like supposed to be also a cross-show sort of a plot where the crew from the modern show is gumped into one of the old episodes, and it's the Tribble episode.
Yes.
So somebody's with Worf. Worf is there for some reason.
Yeah.
And
Worf is one of the crew members that got thrown back in time.
right. Okay. So somebody there is with him on the old Enterprise, and they're like, "That's a Klingon? What the fuck?"
Oh, yeah.
And then Worf-
That's like one of my favorite scenes from Deep Space Nine. They're at a space station bar that the Enterprise is docked at, and like Worf and Odo and Kira and not Kira, Jadzia, Jadzia and Cisco. They're all sitting at like this bar table,
Right.
and the waitress comes and is like, "Oh man, we've had so much Ractagino orders with all these Klingons," and they're like, "Where are the Klingons?" And they're looking around. It's like, well, we don't see any Klingons. So the waitress points over. There's a Klingon over there, and there's one over there. And they all look at the Klingons, and then they all in unison look at Worf.
And then he goes,
"We don't talk about it."
and that's where I got that from.
Yes.
It was because we both know somebody who else is huge into like Star Trek, and
Jelly?
I'm not super into Star Trek. No, somebody worked at
Oh,
Right.
Chico.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he
Why
showed
does
me.
God need a starship?
Well, that was it. He got me on this steady diet of like Star Trek movies, thinking he could get me into it that way. And I was like, okay, the first one was terrible. The first one was trying to be Space Odyssey, and that is exactly what it did not.
The first one was just fucking fan fiction.
Essentially.
It's like, hey, let's do 3 laps around the Enterprise so we can show off.
The second one, amazing. We'll come back to that in a sec.
Yeah.
The third one was not that bad.
I liked the third one.
Yeah.
Third through 2 through 4 were obviously the superior ones. 5 was not as bad as some people say it is. It could have been better.
It was 5. Why does God need a starship? Or is that 6?
No, that was 5.
That was
Yes.
5. Okay.
Yeah.
It was
not stellar. But
It had B movie grit, is what it had, which is why it was still fun. Now, I'll go ahead and say this for myself, knowing that, like, you know, I think all Star Trek fans have like an ordered preference for like all these movies.
Right.
And Khan probably sits straight at the top of like, I'd say 98% of them.
I would have to agree with that.
Okay. Well, as far as 3 is concerned, it had to follow that act, which is probably why people don't really think of it or remember it as fondly as, you know, 2.
Well, 2 set the pedestal so freaking high. It was hard to jump over that. Plus, losing Kirstie Alley, and it was like some of the downbeats of the entire franchise had happened in that particular movie. That I think story-wise, I think 3 was fantastic. I thought it was great. Plus, Christopher Lloyd played a Klingon, for God's sake.
Yeah. Plus, giant sunglasses case. This is the coffin they put Spock in.
It was the torpedo tube.
Yeah, that was an old Seinfeld joke. Sorry.
Oh no.
Yeah. All right. So 4 happened. They got the whales.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was fun.
It was a Nicholas Meyer one. Yeah. Then 5 happened, and I'll tell you right now, it's a shit movie, but it is so great.
It's fun shit.
It is. It's not even like ironically good. It's still straight up fun, in like the way a lot of really old sci-fi horror movies used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Except instead of going toe-to-toe against a giant spider or some mysterious muck man, it's an alien that thinks he's God. So it's basically the celestial being that's going for the long con against a group of organisms that, to him, ought to be like fucking ferrets. I don't know. And it was just so deliciously whack that you cannot hate it.
Do you want to know my fan fiction about that movie?
What is it?
That the God character, whoever he was supposed to be, was an imprisoned alien creature put there by the Q race.
Oh, that's nice.
Because that's probably the only set of beings more powerful than this thing was. Even though he got shot in the face with a torpedo and was dead.
I fucking forgot about that. That's awesome. Yeah, 5 is. I'm not gonna like try to go for the underdog here and be like 5 is one of my favorite ones though. But if I'm like watching 2 and I'm on a binge, it's probably 5 that's gonna come next, and then I'll watch 3 because you have to keep narrative cohesion.
You know what? They're all admissible. They're all good except for Into Darkness, which was total utter shit.
Yep.
I mean,
speaking of like more con entanglements.
Oh my god,
there was a lot of missteps.
There's so many problems with that movie, storyline wise, and then oh god, it was so bad. I'll rip my hair out.
Okay? Well, if I ask you if there was any one thing that you did not appreciate about that film, would it cause you to go bald, or can you tell us?
Okay, the 2 big things. First off, the complete role reversal of Star Trek 2, where Spock dies and Kirk mourns over him.
Yeah.
And they reversed it the other way around, which made no fucking sense. Spock should not be mourning, even if it's his best friend dying in front of him. That drove me fucking nuts. The other thing is, they learned how to teleport long range, which basically negates the use of starships.
Right.
Which, you know...
Well, you referred to the first movie as fan fiction, and whenever I think of, like, unnecessarily badly cobbled together fan service.
Okay. That's a better word.
Fan fiction would be like something that's derivative of the chief work, but never really seems to understand what makes it work. That's Into Darkness.
Yes.
Because I saw that movie and I was like, I don't know that much about Star Trek, but I know this shit ain't it.
Oh, and apparently tribbles save your life.
They do. I mean, they're soft and cuddly.
If you mix them with Khan's blood. So we have an immortality device now, apparently, in Star Trek.
Okay, I missed that?
They took some of Khan's blood, mixed it with a tribble, and they were able to bring Kirk back to life with it.
Did I possibly forget about that because it was so goddamn stupid?
That's very likely.
Huh.
Very likely.
Thanks for reintroducing me to that trauma, Bob.
I mean, it's probably why the next movie...
Beyond,
yes.
Okay.
That's probably why the next movie did so badly, is because everyone's like, oh god, this last movie was garbage, I'm not going to bother with this one.
Yeah, but you told me that one was actually pretty good.
It was good.
It was good.
I mean, when its previous movie was stuck 6 feet into the porta potty and you had blown it up and set it on fire.
If there's a pit of flaming coals that you have to walk over, but in front of that pit of flaming coals is a slip and slide covered in diarrhea. That pit of flaming coals, otherwise known as Star Trek Beyond, is going to seem far preferable.
It's going to look like a beaming beacon of light.
Not to give people bad ideas. But anyway, yeah, all of those followed Con. Con was so good that the first time I saw it, I was like, I regret not being born at the time to see this in a theater.
I forget when it came, like 84-ish?
Well, then apparently my parents have shit taste in movies and just didn't take me.
Well, I wasn't taken either. My dad grew up a Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when I showed my dad, what was it, Generations, and that opening scene where Kirk dies on, I'm using air quotes, where Kirk dies on, spoiler,
That's fine.
on Enterprise B. My dad saw that, he lost his mind. He's like, that's how Kirk dies? Kirk should be like trumpeted into heaven with like 100 angels screaming a chorus, and the heavens open up, and it's Kirk ascending, and like, no, you don't just like, and the room exploded and Kirk is gone. No, you don't do that.
Jesus.
Luckily for him, like he got like a little bit of redemption later on in the movie, but he still wasn't happy. He's like, oh, well, at least he did something this time.
I'd never seen Generations, but I unfortunately know how he dies, and I don't know if it was maybe a case of the creators throwing themselves upon the mercy of the court, but how are you going to kill off a pop cultural icon like that and have it be satisfactory?
Oh, that's very difficult, if at all.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. Those guys were like, look, we have a movie that's already written, and corporate mandate wants us to do this. None of that shit makes any sense anyway, because there's at least a century or so between the original Star Trek and Next Generation, right? Why does there need to be an actual physical passing of the torch?
There doesn't, but the way they wrote it, if you suspend your disbelief and you throw reason out the window and you're just like, hey, dumb sci-fi movie. Okay, yeah, I can believe that, sure.
I don't know. Star Trek always had a lock on that science fiction for straight-thinking people. You know? There's got to be a lot of reason to what goes on in that show.
There was a reason, and it was very sci-fi-y.
Well, yes.
But all right, that's probably a good jumping off point there.
Yeah.
So I hope you've all enjoyed this episode of The Derailers presented by Cretin's Guild.
I did. I like listening to the Derailers, whether or not we're participating with them.
You guys need to, like, we're racing each other. Who can podcast less, apparently. And I think they're winning slightly.
Well, we have to get a jump on that.
Yeah, we love you guys. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed episode 80 of the Cretin's Guild podcast. I want to remind you that we do have a Patreon page. Sometimes I put some early stuff, some exclusive content on there. But if you want to join our Patreon, it's as little as $1 a month. You can jump in, get some swag, get some exclusive content. You know the deal. Yep. We also have a tpublic.com page. Look for Cretin's Guild, one word. There are constantly sales going on. Just check out our Twitter or Instagram under Cretin's Guild, and you'll see us like post stuff about sales going on. What do you is there a bug in here?
Oh, it is right there. It's right in your phone.
Oh,
no, there it is. Got him?
Yeah! Kill the moth.
You know, we might as well leave this sound in. It kind of adds texture. It adds texture to the whole affair.
I've had a moth flying around my office for a few days. It drove me freaking nuts, but finally killed it.
We should put a microphone in front of the meth still just to give it that much more flavor.
For the what?
The meth still.
Meth still.
Which is, the bathtub. And
this isn't Breaking Bad.
I know it isn't, because we're making meth in a fucking bathtub, Bob. Of course it's not Breaking Bad.
No, we're making gin in the bathtub. Get it right.
We're making gin in the foot tub, the big thing that, you play the washboard.
No, we needed someone with more volume.
All right.
I had to kick out the meth.
That means we're making a pretty good income.
Yeah, we are.
Revenue's piping hot.
Sending it on down to Disney.
Doing
pretty good. We also have a couple of YouTube pages. There's mine, Skipper Bob's Breakdowns. There's Jay's of Square Pegs. Links to all these things are on our link tree. You'll find it on our Twitter page, and I think it's going to be in the description of this particular podcast. Guys, we are parts of the PODFIX network. I almost said someone else, and I'm the last guy of this group who should forget the name of the network we're on. PODFIX. We are PODFIX Network.
A pod is what you call dolphins.
Okay.
Or whales?
Yes.
All right. But a pod is not lions.
No.
All right. Well, today I learned.
Pride Fix Network. Fix that pride, goddammit.
Something that they do not have for our show.
There is no fix for us. So to all our followers, new and old, we
There's
say,
no pride either.
welcome to the Guild.
This was a podcast of the PODFIX Network. You can check out more shows like it at podfixnetwork.com.